Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. Today we're in FACON 2, one of the main deck radio rooms on an Iowa-class battleship, and I'm here with Jeff Goulas, who's transmitting on board this weekend for Museum Ship Radio Weekend. This usually happens the first weekend in June every year, and it involves museum ships and other ham operators all around the country getting together and talking on the air. So Jeff, how long have you been volunteering with Battleship New Jersey now?
I've been volunteering since about 2020, and then got the COVID thing went on, and now I'm back. Been here practically every weekend since 2023.
How long have you been a ham operator?
I've been a ham since about 2016.
What does it mean to be a ham operator?
Basically, it's an interesting thing nowadays because, most people have no problem talking around the world over the internet, but it's an interesting angle to say, hey, I could talk around the world without the internet. I can literally transmit something out in the air and talk to somebody with no internet, no networks, just between me and them, just straight through the air.
So there's obviously some real world applications to that. Very cool. So what is Museum Ship Radio Weekend? How long have you been here today or this weekend operating?
So I've been here pretty much all day yesterday as far as Saturday, and then I've been pretty much all day here today. Museum Ships Weekend is basically, like you said, not only us, but a lot of ham radio operators trying to see how many museum ships they can work. It could be a ship, it could be a sub, technically an aircraft carrier. There's different rules, but basically anywhere within sight of a ship who's registered to be on the contest can talk to radio operators, and they see how many contacts that they can make.
Okay. And how does operating this equipment work? Like, you get somebody else on the line. How does that work? Do you dial someone directly?
So in most cases, we are picking an open frequency, tune the radio around until we hear silence. First, we make sure there's nobody on that frequency because you don't want to step on somebody else. And then we call CQ, and CQ is from the old Morse code days, and essentially it's like casting our line. CQ is like, hey, come talk to me. Hey, I'm November Juliet 2, Bravo Bravo, Battleship New Jersey. Come say hi to me. And as people are dialing around, we do that over and over again, just like casting a line. And eventually somebody grabs the hook and, they reply back and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and we make a contact. So, we give them a signal report. Are they coming in clear? Are they coming in not so clear? They give us the same thing back. And essentially that becomes a contact in the log and, it counts as far as the contest is concerned.
Okay. So anybody else on a ham, frequency can go through and they're listening for NJ2BB, which is our frequency to say that they've talked to the battleship, or any of these other frequencies that everybody else has too?
CQ, November Juliet 2, Bravo Bravo, New Jersey 2, Bravo Bravo, aboard the Battleship New Jersey for the Museum Ship Weekend special event.
For example, so on the fish side, on the receiving side, people just kind of tune around. They're within the ham bands, you have certain frequencies you're allowed to work depending on what license you have. But for the most part, everybody kind of works in the middle here. And, they just tune around and say like, oh, I just heard USS Midway on, 14 megahertz. So they can try to reach back and see if they can make a contact with them. As far as, my operation here this weekend, I think I've worked 4 ships so far, including, the Olympia right across the river.
That one was easy to get. So you reach out to somebody, you get their code, it's always 5 digits?
Call sign. No, there can be any combination of stuff.
Okay.
And there's a whole history behind that. As far as where the call signs came from, that actually involved World War II and stuff like that. When I know when World War II happened, the FCC actually stopped a lot of people from getting call signs. And then I think from that point, once the war ended to now, the rules were amended and things changed. And depending on when that happened is kind of what call signs you get. It also depends on what license you have as far as what call signs you get. So, NJ2BB is the ship license that we have here. My personal call sign KC3GGX is somewhat of a generic FCC. Hey, here's your secret decoder ring and, come play radio. So that was just assigned to me. But you can request vanity calls. So if I wanted something fun, I could put in a request to the FCC, and as long as it's open and applicable to my license, they would give it to you.
Okay. Okay. So you get their call sign, and does the conversation progress from there, or is it you have caught that fish and now you're looking for another?
So radio works in two ways, or a bunch of different ways, really. In terms of the contest, yeah, it's pretty much, we transmit out and they reply to us, or hey, we hear them and we reply to them. We, exchange our call signs. We give a little signal report and maybe a thank you. Sometimes people do have a comment to say. I've worked a couple people who are former Battleship volunteers yesterday, so they had a couple comments to make. And then that's it. We say 73s. 73s is an old Morse code thing that essentially means like thanks, good night, goodbye,
Okay.
have a good one. And then we move on. Other radio operators, if they're just what they call rag chewing, can have a full conversation. They can do the same thing. They call CQ. People reply back to them, and then they can just carry on a normal conversation, just to kind of, talk about the weather or whatever it is they talk about. Usually it's radio stuff, but it can be anything.
Okay. So, and you've now logged their call sign in the book, and what happens from there? Like, you now have a list of call signs that you've made contact with this weekend.
All right, so after this weekend, we have our logbooks here. Everybody else who was involved, whether they're at-home amateurs or another ship, all collect their logs. They send it here to the contest administrator. Contest administrator takes all that information. They pull it into a computer program, and they do a comparison to prove who worked what. Okay. So if we say we worked you, for example, and you say you worked us, there's software that will compare the list and say, yes, for sure, Ryan worked in Battleship New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I think anybody who is a amateur who works 15 or more ships will get a certificate emailed to them to say, congratulations, you worked 15 museum ships during Museum Ships Weekend. And the ships are the same way. I think if they work a certain number of other ships and there's other rules involved, they get certificates for their participation as well.
Awesome. Is this your first year doing Museum Ship Radio Weekend?
Yeah, this is actually my first year as a somewhat new volunteer here.
So when it's not just Museum Ship Radio Weekend, how often would you say you and the other radio club members are on board the Battleship?
So I can speak from experience for sure. Pretty much every Saturday, there's a few operators in here working from the ship. We have a couple operators who are specialized in what's known as CW, otherwise known as Morse code. And Morse code can get a little farther sometimes because it's an on-off type of thing. So it tends to reach out a little bit farther. So they're talking to, again, other amateurs, other ships, whatever. And then I know on Sundays, usually we'll have an operator here that are helping the Boy Scouts who stay overnight getting their radio merit badges. So almost every weekend there's some kind of radio operation going on the ship here.
And the radio club volunteers don't just get on the air every weekend. You also do other restoration projects around the ship. What have you been working on lately?
So here in the ship, I've been working on our teletype system. So right now we're in FACON 2. Right outside of FACON 2 is the message handling room, which is where we have a lot of teletype equipment. And teletype was an old brand name for essentially typewriters that would print out from different systems. And we're working on restoring some of our actual teletype infrastructure here to try to see if we can both work other amateurs as well as potentially other ships, and potentially in a way that we could have guests perhaps you make those contacts as well.
Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for your time and for all the volunteer work you do on board. So, you guys really requested learning more about our radio volunteers and what it's like being a ham operator on the Battleship. Hopefully this answered a lot of your questions. Let us know in the comment section down below if you have any other questions about this. Also, let us know if you've ever connected with Battleship New Jersey over the radio. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, also from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourself. We really appreciate your support. There's a link in the description below if you'd like to continue donating to support the museum and our volunteers that make our mission happen. You can also support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about the museum and our channel. Thanks for watching.
So Foxtrot, Japan, but what's the rest of the call?
Because I know this stuff here.
Delta Foxtrot, Japan, your call? Nothing heard. QRZ, November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo. All right, Whiskey 4, Delta Uniform something. What's the rest of the call?
CQ, calling CQ, Museum Ships Weekend.
You're really weak, really weak. Try it again.
Bravo, Bravo.
Whiskey 4, Delta Uniform. All right, Whiskey 4, Delta Uniform, Quebec.
November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo, Battleship New Jersey.
Whiskey 4, Delta Uniform, Quebec.
CQ, calling CQ. This is November, Juliet 2, Bravo,
All right,
Bravo.
you're really down in the noise, really down in the noise. Just give me a Roger on your call sign. Is it Whiskey 4, Delta Uniform, Quebec? Give me a few Rogers or negative.
CQ, calling CQ. This is November.
Okay, I heard you that time. Thank you. You're 5-1, just a 5-1 here into Battleship New Jersey.
CQ, calling CQ.
All right, my call is November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo, New Jersey 2, big battleship.
All right, I got Kilo Charlie 9, Golf Mike Whiskey. This is November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo, QSL.
All right, you faded out again, but I think we got a complete call here.
Roger that. You're a 5A here in Camden, New Jersey at the Battleship New Jersey.
The QRZ information is accurate.
73s, and thanks for the contact. CQ,
All right, 73s.
November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo, Museum Ships Weekend.
Google Museum Ship Weekend. The New Jersey sponsors that event, and all the QSL information can be found there.
Kilo Delta 4, Quebec, November, Lima.
All right, Whiskey 4, Delta Uniform, Quebec. You just picked up as well. I can hear you now clearly.
Roger that. You're a clean 5-9 up here at the Camden, New Jersey at the Battleship New Jersey.
All right, 73s. Hopefully you have a good weekend. This is November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo.
Roger that. Gotcha.
QRZ, November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo, New Jersey 2, Bravo, Bravo.
I'm sorry, try one more time. I got Whiskey Bravo 5, something Zulu November. Try one more time.
All right, there's somebody way down the noise. Whiskey.
Try one more time.
November, Sierra, Whiskey Sierra, November, something like that. Nothing heard. QRZ, November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo, aboard the Battleship New Jersey.
I'm sorry, I just can't make you out. You can you give me a different phonetic for that?
CQ, November, Juliet 2, Bravo, Bravo, New Jersey 2, Bravo, Bravo. CQ,
I'm sorry, I just can't make you out. Apologize. Maybe try again in a couple of minutes because the bands are in and out sometimes.